Hello! It is football day right now. It is Sunday, the day of the AFC NFC championship games. And since we're doing the keto diet and we are football fans, I wanted to come up with some keto football snacks.
And I volunteered to eat them.
Yeah, so we're gonna make some really fun things. I've got a jalapeno popper recipe. I'm sure everybody has a jalapeno popper recipe that they love. This one's mine. We've got avocado chips. We're gonna make some bacon wrapped pork balls. We're gonna try to make some mozzarella sticks and some chicken nuggets today. So we're gonna do a few different things and we're just gonna bring you guys along and share how we make these things with you today. So we're starting with the jalapeno poppers. I've got all the ingredients ready. Thank you, Mom, for helping me. We've got a brick of cream cheese softened, and here I've got 8 ounces of shredded cheese, and I shredded this myself. I've got half pepper jack and half Monterey Jack. You could do cheddar, you could do sharp cheddar, but I did 8 ounces, so 4 of one and 4 of the other. And then these are our little jalapeno peppers. We only have 2. And that's perfect for the 2 of us that are going to be eating them today because Emma doesn't like jalapeno poppers. But this filling will make more than 2 jalapeno peppers, or it'll make more than 4 poppers. So if you want to keep it in the fridge for a week, you could just buy a great big stack of jalapeno peppers and make a couple every day, because we did that a couple weeks ago and it was really perfect. And then we've got some chopped cilantro and some seasonings, and in this bowl I have 4 ounces of chorizo, which I cooked and drained, and it's actually been in the fridge for a couple days, and so I just kind of heated it up. It's not hot, it's just kind of not a solid brick of chorizo anymore. So we're gonna start adding everything into that bowl, mix it all up, and fill the peppers. And if your cream cheese is still hard, if it's still like too cold, put it in the microwave for 5 or 6 seconds and it'll warm up enough but not melt, because you don't want it to be too runny or it'll just run right out of your jalapenos. So we're just gonna try to mix in the meat first, and then we'll mix in the cheese and the seasonings next. I have some chili powder, and I'm just gonna sprinkle in about 1/4 teaspoon. If you like it spicy, you could put in the seeds that you pulled out of the jalapenos. If they still look good, I don't like that, so I just did some chili powder. You could add more or less, and then this is garlic salt. And I'm gonna do about 1/2 teaspoon of that, because we're putting in a lot of cheese. So next goes some of the cheese. I'll add in about half and stir it up, and then I'll add in the rest.
Looks like that's getting pretty stiff.
It is getting really pretty stiff, and you want it to be cold right now, because if it's warm when you put it in your jalapenos, it's just gonna run all over everywhere. So you want this mix to be cold when it goes into your peppers. Next, we're gonna add in the cilantro. If you like cilantro, add it. If you don't, then don't. Skip this part. If you really like cilantro, add a lot. I don't think you can add too much to this, because we've made this a couple of times already, and I've really enjoyed this.
I have too.
We are now ready to start spooning the mixture into the jalapeno pepper. So I will show you how to make sure that you get it all the way into the bottom. So I've got a spoonful, and I'm gonna scrape it off on the side. So it's kind of getting down there into that well, and you wanna make sure that you're filling that bottom with your cheese mixture, because you want a jalapeno pepper that is filled. You don't want one that's just mounted. You don't want air in there. You wanna make sure that you're filling it with that filling. And I like to kind of mound it up a little, sort of like I'm frosting a cake, but it's better because it's cheese. And that's what it looks like when it's filled. We'll do a couple more. I have this problem where my jalapeno poppers like to lay over like that, and I don't like that because it needs to sit up so it'll hold everything. So I make these little tents, trays, it's like a cot for my jalapeno popper. So I tear off a strip of foil, and it's really not very inventive. I roll up a side, I roll up the other side. You want the shiny side up because the shiny side of foil reflects heat, and then you just kind of lay it in there, and you see how he sits up straight and tall and proud like that? We're gonna make a couple more of these, and then these are gonna go in the oven. We've got our jalapeno popper stuffed with meat, cheese, cilantro, and some spices, and I've made these cute little sleeping bags for our jalapenos. These are gonna go into the oven at 375 for between 15 and 25 minutes when they are to your satisfaction, when they're done to your satisfaction. Because if you like a more fresh jalapeno pepper, you will want to cook them like for a shorter amount of time. I kind of like it when the pepper is a little bit soft, so we cook ours for a little bit longer, but these are going to go in the oven right now. All right, our jalapeno poppers are about done, I think. They've been in here for about 20 minutes. So we've got some bacon in here for another recipe, but oh my gosh, they look so good.
So perfect.
Wow. Wow, look how yummy.
Smell how yummy.
Yeah, can you smell it?
Let me get you closer so you can smell it. Here, can you smell that one?
Gosh, they look so pretty. Don't eat these yet. The cream cheese inside is so hot, you don't want to burn the daylights out of your mouth. Let them sit. I know it's sad, but they're gonna be okay. It's all gonna be fine. These are even good cold. I'll eat them cold. I'll eat the filling cold out of the fridge with a spoon, and I'm not ashamed. Yum, yum.
Those are excellent. And if somebody really wants to put a topping or they can put more cheese on it, or if they feel like, gosh, they want them, you know, more of a fried type, they can put them in almond flour and then a little bit of egg.
You could sprinkle some almond flour on top. You could sprinkle some crumbled pork rinds on top and bake them if you wanted to. I don't think they need to be fried.
Oh, me either. They're perfect.
I love the baked jalapeno popper. Next, we are making bacon wrapped pork bomb balls. So I have some ground pork here that I have seasoned to the way that we like it. I put some garlic in here, salt, pepper, chili powder. Season it however you like. Put whatever you like in your ground pork, and then cube some mozzarella cheese. We are going to take a cube of mozzarella and we're going to stick it inside each one of these little pork meatballs, and then we're gonna wrap them in bacon and bake them. All right, we had our bacon in the oven at, what is it at, 375 for a few minutes just to kind of get the cooking process started. My problem with bacon wrapped anything is that a lot of times the bacon never gets fully cooked. So we kind of got the bacon started cooking, and now I'm wrapping my little pork sausage balls in the bacon, and I'm putting them on this tray. So this is like a cookie sheet down underneath, and this is one of those cookie drying racks. And I'm putting it on here because I want it to work sort of like an air fryer in the oven. So the pan is gonna catch all the drippings, but all of the hot air is gonna circulate around these, and so the bacon should cook on the bottom too. So we shouldn't have any uncooked or raw or wiggly bacon wrapping our sausage balls, which is what we're looking for. We want it to be crispy. last one. Just spread those out so they'll cook. So we're gonna put those back in the oven. I need a different piece. I don't think this one's gonna work. Never mind, hold on. All right, we've got our bacon wrapped pork balls, and these are gonna go into the oven and they're gonna bake at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes, or at least until the pork is done. And if you have a question about your pork being done, use a thermometer and take the internal temperature of your pork. It's sort of like chicken. You don't want your pork to be undercooked. There is such a thing as undercooked pork, and it's not good for you. You can have a medium rare steak, you can't have a medium rare pork chop. So we're gonna put these guys in the oven. Our bacon balls just came out of the oven and they're done. I took the internal temperature and it's above 170 on all of them. We're just gonna let them sit here and continue to get happy for a few minutes. This one, if you're gonna look closely, has cheese dripping out. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. I can hardly wait to eat those. All right, now we're getting ready to start breading our chicken and our cheese. So we've got some string cheese we're gonna turn into mozzarella sticks. And then over here we have some chicken tenders. These have already been cut. I purchased them this way. And so we're just gonna kind of bread them and shallow fry them. And then in this bowl I've got 2 eggs and a little splash of water. And this is gonna be our wet coat. And then we're gonna put our dry coat in there. And the way that we bread it is we do the dry coat, then the wet coat, then the dry coat again. And then when we do the cheese, we're actually going to, after they are breaded, put these on a plate in the freezer for a while. And then after they've been frozen for a little bit, then we'll cook them, because the thing is, the cheese will melt all over everywhere if you put it in when it's warm. So we're gonna start mixing up the dry coat and then we're gonna start cooking them. All right, I'm just finishing mixing up our dry mix, which is 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese and 2/3 of a cup of almond flour. I do want to mention I doubled this recipe because we were doing the mozzarella sticks and so many chicken tenders, and I want to make more than I am going to need so I don't run out and have to make more. And once you're done breading your chicken, you're done with this stuff. You cannot use this again once your raw chicken has been in here. That's just gross. So with that in mind, we are going to do the cheese first, because we want to bread the cheese, put it in the freezer, and while the cheese is in the freezer waiting, then we will bread the chicken second, and then we'll probably cook the chicken while the cheese is still in the freezer. Then we'll cook the cheese last, because that should still be hot when we go to eat it. Got our cheese, and we coat it first in the dry, and then in the wet, and then again in the dry. Put it on that. All right, there's our breaded mozzarella sticks. Those are gonna go into the freezer while I bread the rest of the chicken and then start frying the chicken. I want the cheese to be cold, and I want that coating on the outside of the cheese stick to actually stick to the cheese. So that's why we're gonna put it in the freezer. Okay.
And that's perfect.
Got our chicken breaded, and we've got our oil heating on the stove. Remember, oil boils at a much higher temperature than water. So if your oil is bubbling while it's on the stove and there's nothing in it, it is way too hot. You need to turn it off, take it outside, get it out of your house, because your house is gonna catch fire. The way to test if your oil is hot enough to fry your food is to drop a little piece of whatever's like stuck on your thumb, or whatever fell off of your chicken as you were carrying it over here. Drop a little piece into the oil. That did not start bubbling, so it's not yet hot enough. So you just want to wait until it's hot enough to actually start cooking your food. And the way to test that is with a thermometer, or just use the age-old method of dropping some food in there, seeing if it bubbles. And if it bubbles when you put food in it, then that's okay, but you don't want it bubbling on its own on your stove. That's way too hot. I think the oil's hot enough. We're gonna drop in, yep, see how it's bubbling down there? That's how hot you want it. You don't want it to bubble on its own. You want it to bubble when you're ready. So I'm gonna grab a piece of chicken. And you don't plop it in there, you lay it down slowly away from your body like that. Now we're gonna let that cook for a while.
You don't just put them all in there?
One at a time. You don't want to overcrowd the pan. You'll drop the oil temperature way too fast and it won't cook at all. So you want to just kind of let it cook. Notice how it's bubbling less. It's because it's dropping the oil temperature. So it's going to be a process. It's going to take a while, but that's okay. I've been moving some of our, got a clean hand, sausage balls. So when our chicken comes out of the fryer, I'm going to put it on this rack over here to drip because it's going to continue cooking when it comes out of the oil. We're going to flip this over in a minute so it'll cook the other side. But when you bring it out, you don't want it to be soggy, so we're going to flip it over when it comes out of the oil onto one of these racks so it can drip. I just flipped it. It got a couple of minutes on the other side, and look how pretty and golden that is. It looks so pretty. We have finished frying the chicken, and it's actually in the oven to keep warm, and now we're frying the cheese sticks. We've got one done, and I think it got a little bit overdone, but I kind of like them like that. I'm gonna pull this guy out. Whoa! Ta-da! And if it looks a little bit light as soon as it comes out of the fryer, it might be. That's okay, because it's going to continue getting more golden when it comes out, so don't let it get too dark in the pan. All right, we've got one more thing to make, and it is our avocado chips. Mom wants to show you something on the avocado. She's gonna be making these.
Somebody already checked it.
Okay, that's a really good way to check if an avocado is ready, but when you do that, no one else can pop it off once you've already popped that off. So stop doing that if you're going to the grocery store.
Quit pulling all those off of there.
And don't squeeze it like it's a stress
See
ball.
how just my thumb, I just barely blanch my thumb. You just want to see if there's a little bit of give.
You don't have to squeeze it and squish it, okay? Just be gentle to the avocados. So for the avocado chips, we are going to put the avocados in the bowl and mash them smooth and mix them with some Parmesan cheese. And then we're gonna kind of flatten them out into discs and make chips. So now she is just mashing the avocados, and I went ahead and added in the 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. We're just using this grated Parmesan cheese we got in bulk at Sam's Club because this is really great to keep in the freezer for things like this and for things like that just kind of, you know, you don't need high quality stuff. You don't need to spend a ton of money at like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. It's still Parmesan cheese, but it's not exactly the greatest quality Parmesan cheese. So it does the job, and for something like this that we're gonna bake it into chips, it's just fine. Next, we need some lemon juice. What's up?
I was gonna ask, are there hidden carbs in this?
Hidden carbs. Let's look at the recipe.
No, I meant in this.
Oh. No, there are 0 carbohydrates in the Parmesan cheese. We're gonna add some lemon juice, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. And we've got a 2-in-1 salt and Italian seasoning. And I think there's garlic powder in here too, so.
And here's some pepper that we cracked with a hammer.
Yep. So we've got salt and pepper, and I will get the lemon juice. We've started scooping out the avocado mixture, and it says to place heaping tablespoon scoops and then kind of spread it out. You could pan the bottom of like a measuring cup and then mash it into a circle. You could do abstract art like Mom likes to do and just paint your avocado, but you definitely want to put it on a parchment sheet, and you definitely want to keep them apart from each other, or you'll just have one great big avocado sheet. And then when we've got this baking sheet done, when we've got that avocado paste all dolloped out, we will bake them at 325 for about 30 minutes.
Picture Mom.
Well, I've got our cool little Chiefs tray. You probably can't see it under that little nugget, but this is our little Chiefs, sort of like a chips and dip tray, but I've got our pork balls over here, our chicken tenders over here. Look how beautiful they are. We did put them in the oven just to make sure that they were cooked all the way through. We just left them in at 350 for a few minutes and then brought them out. These are our cheese sticks. We ate one already and they are delicious. And then we've got our jalapeno poppers. I made a keto ketchup, and I'm not going to share that recipe just because I'm not happy with it. When I find one that I like, I will put it in the description box. And our keto avocado chips are about to come out of the oven. Here they come. Ooh. So we didn't do the discs. We did abstract art with these. And now we need to let them cool completely, and then they will become chip-like. Do you have something to say? Anything? Nothing? Okay.
She wants to volunteer to test it.
Well, we've already eaten, actually. That's what's left of one of my chicken tenders. I actually ate so much that I'm full. We have some thoughts, and I want to share them with you.
Wow, I got really upset, I guess, when I was cooking. My hair's messed.
I think we just got upset because the Buccaneers won. And
oh, please don't talk about it.
we have some thoughts, we have some feelings, and they're all conspiracy theories. And if you hate Tom Brady too, give this video a thumbs up and we will all jump on that train together. But let's talk about the food we made today, Mom. I thought the mozzarella sticks were really good. You don't like mozzarella sticks.
Not particularly, but I did like these. Those were good.
And the chicken was perfect.
It was excellent.
If you can find a really fine ground almond flour, use that. Ours was kind of coarse, but I think it was fine.
surprised how much I liked the breading on the chicken.
Mm-hmm. I think when they come right out of the fryer, you should sprinkle them with salt.
Yep.
And I definitely suggest using something like a dipping sauce like ketchup or ranch dressing or mayonnaise or something, because they can be a little bit bland, a little bit boring, but I thought they were really good and they were cooked perfectly.
I didn't think they needed anything but a little salt. I thought that the bacon sausage bombs, thought those needed something on them.
Yeah, I liked them a lot. And the jalapeno poppers
were great.
Love those. Love them so much. I need to go back to the grocery store and get some more jalapenos so we can have some more of those this week, because we have the filling. We just need to get some jalapenos, but I thought they were perfect. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for your help today.
You're welcome. It was
She was my camera woman. She was my sous chef. She did some things on her own. What did you think of the avocado chips? Because I did not eat those.
They've got to be thin. I know you would really like them, but your allergy, I don't think it's a good idea. But they do need to be thin. And I actually found it better if I kind of patted it out with my finger. Mm-hmm. That made them thin enough. Okay. But it takes a while for them to kind of dehydrate. And then when we took them out, we flipped them over and they dried out, and those were good.
We put them on like a cookie cooling rack so that they could dry out, because you don't want them to be soggy and you want them to be more like chips. But yeah, I think that's it. Definitely cook the pork balls completely. Make sure that the bacon is crispy or it won't be fun. But yeah.
Put the sausage around the mozzarella. We didn't have any trouble, but on 2 of them where the mozzarella kind of leaked out. But the others, the cheese was inside. They were perfect.
There was a really fantastic cheese pull on a couple of them too.
That was perfect.
Yes, it was perfect. These were really, really good. So if you're looking for some football snacks for the Super Bowl, if you have the appetite to watch that game, because I don't know that I do now. No. Anyway. Yeah, these were some really good options. They're keto. I will have all of the recipes and macros on the screen for each of the recipes, so you will be able to see everything. And if you want the recipe, just take a screenshot, pause the video, take a screenshot, and there's your recipe for that. And that's gonna be it from me for today. You guys will see me in another vlog really, really soon.